All right, so today I want to go through something that is a little bit more beginner for people who are just kind of getting into voice AI agents and maybe want to build them out for their own company. Anything from real estate to home services, which can include plumbing, landscaping, electrician, all that kind of stuff. Therapy clinics, wellness clinics, anyone who's looking to take calls that might be getting missed now. Like one of our clients, Ralph, who essentially got 33 bookings in the first 2 weeks. Those bookings would have been completely missed. So if you're looking to be like Ralph, who gets these bookings while they're sleeping, getting people actually booked in to their CRM. And that's a big part. I know some people might not have a CRM. This is for people who are currently using a software that houses either information that includes their calendar, information about clients, names, numbers, emails, phone numbers, that kind of thing. Things like Service Titan, Zoho, Google Calendar, all these kinds of apps that they might be using to host their customer information. So I just want to go through it quickly. How can you connect your softwares to these voice agents so that when they're speaking to someone, they can not only book into a calendar, pull customer information, things like, again, name, email, phone number, and actually work like a human at a computer? How do we actually make that happen? We don't just want to make some sort of nice, glorified voicemail. It's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create an actual voice agent that takes action in businesses' current processes. So let's get started. There's going to be two things that you're going to need to know. Two applications that you're going to need to use to connect these softwares. One is called Retell AI, where you're going to be actually creating the voice agent. And the other one is called make.com or Zapier. And I'll go through a couple of the differences and why you would use one over the other. So just to explain, Make and Zapier are basically bridges that allow the AI voice agent to communicate with the software that you have. They allow data to pass between both of those things. So this is a software that you're going to use to, again, connect your software that you use. We'll take Google Calendar, for example, and connect it to the voice agent so it can actually take actions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen quickly. Give me a second. All right, so we are seeing here, this is make.com. This is one of the applications, the one that we usually prefer. It is a little bit more on the technical side, meaning there is a little bit more of a learning curve, but you're able to do a lot more with it. Essentially, you can connect any app with any other app, and that's super important for our voice agents and the softwares that we'll be connecting them to. So you might not be using Google Calendar. You might not be using Zoho. You might be using some really niche CRM, some really niche, application, whether you might be a dentist, dental office, therapy clinic, or anything else, and you use something that is super specific. For example, Service Titan. That is incredibly popular for a lot of home service companies, and that is what you want to connect your voice agent to. So how do you know if this actually connects with your voice agent? The first thing we're going to do is in the comment below, you're going to see all the links that I'm using on this video. So you're going to come here to make.com and you're going to be able to search any software that you're currently using and see if make.com has it as a featured app already. We can see that Service Titan is already connected. This is quite a new thing that make.com has done, which is absolutely amazing, which they've added Service Titan. It used to be only that Zapier had it, but Zapier is a little bit more expensive, well, a lot more expensive, and so it's good that make.com now has an integration with Service Titan. You can create a job note, search adjustments, watch jobs, all of these amazing things. And not only that, you can also make an API call. That's going to be for a different video where we'll go over API calls and actually how we can use them. Maybe we'll do specifically Service Titan or maybe just in general API calls. This is to do more of those complex actions because Service Titan, where you can see, you can go into, let's say, for example, Service Titan APIs, their developer portal. So you can go into Service Titan's, for example, CRM APIs, and you can see what it allows you to do. create a new customer, update location, create custom fields, validate location addresses, stuff that isn't on make.com's easily accessible APIs. So you need to create a new one. Again, that'll be for a different kind of video. But again, this is what you want to do. It doesn't matter which CRM or which software you're currently using. You want to search up anything. So for example, let's say I'm a real estate person and I use Follow Up Boss, for example. Follow Up Boss is here as well. So like what we've done for other clients is we build essentially everything that the AI needs to do. And these are great tools to be able to use and search up to see if your CRM actually connects with the voice AI agent. And the big part of this is make.com not only connects with thousands of different softwares, they also connect directly with Retell, which is the platform that we're going to use to actually build the agents out, right? So we need the data to come from the voice agent. For example, when the voice agent talks to somebody and says, hi, I'm just going to look at our calendar availability. This is where you're going to be able to do it. Retell has an integration with cal.com, or you can go directly to Google Calendar, which is great as well. So if you can't find an integration that is on make.com, you can go over to Zapier, however you pronounce it. And this is a place where you can find maybe integrations that weren't on make.com, right? So Explore, they have 7,000 different application connections. You can go over into it. You can search up anything that you didn't find on make.com on Zapier, and I will link also the Zapier search down below. So this is the way to get started. You need to make sure that your software has the ability to connect with make.com or Zapier. Now, the final thing that we're going to need to go over is what if you can't find your software that you use on any one of these applications? Not on Make, not on Zapier, nothing. What are you supposed to do? Basically, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to search up your software that you use. So you use a CRM called Folk. What you're going to do is, and it's not on make.com or Zapier, you're going to do Folk CRM APIs. That's what you're going to search up into Google. Now, what you're going to look for here is to see if you're going to be able to connect to Folk via their APIs. So you would have to make it customized yourself on make.com, which is something I'll go through as well. So you're going to check here and you're going to see Folk CRM, Folk API. And once you do that, you're going to want to check to see if they have usually a developer portal, which is where you're going to be able to see the actual API documentation, which would look like something like this. So you can access the developer documentation. So now you're going to see here on this page, API reference or quick start. And you're essentially going to go through the process that they take you on to implement this API. So you're essentially going to need to have webhooks, which is something I'll go through on another video, where you can take a webhook, which is like a link, and you implement it into Make, and you're able to get variables from Folk. So Folk will provide you all the variables. So let's say a customer, name, email, phone number. If it connects to a booking, you're able to check times for booking, all that kind of stuff. All right, so really what I wanted to explain in this video is, number one, how to integrate your CRM or your calendar or the software you use with your customers to see if it can connect to the voice agent. And these are the steps, just to go over it again. Number one, you want to go and you want to check if your software has direct integration with make.com. If it has a direct integration with make.com, then that's amazing. You can just start up right on that page on Make. Second, if it doesn't have that connection on make.com, go on to Zapier. The reason is it's a little bit more expensive. It might be more user-friendly if price is not the biggest thing for you and you want a little bit more of a user-friendly way to build, then I would go to Zapier. You can check if it's on Zapier and you can build there. Next, if you can't find it on Make or Zapier, it's not the end of the world. You can go on to the actual companies. Remember, onto Google, and you search up the CRM. So let's say it's Folk CRM again, API. If they have an API, it'll come up on Google, and you'll be able to go to their website, like I showed you, and go onto their documentation, and they'll have a provided webhook. which is something else I'll explain in a different video. Maybe by the time you're looking at this, it's already out, and you can go check how we work with webhooks and what that actually means. So you'd go with a webhook and you connect it to make.com that way. If there's no API documentation, then unfortunately it's not going to be a viable CRM to be able to connect. I think most CRMs, a big thing about the world today is CRMs are starting to understand, and softwares are starting to understand how important needing a connection or an API is for the AI world. That apps need to be connected to one another to have power. And people are going to start switching to ones that do versus ones that don't. So maybe today your software is not connected, but I would reach out to a customer relationship manager that you have at that company and ask them. Sometimes you need to actually purchase it, which sometimes it's quite expensive. Other times they provide it on an ask basis. So you need to reach out to them and ask them for it as a customer. So that's another thing that you can do. Now, these are all the tips for making sure you can connect it to your actual CRM. I hope that this was useful. I hope that you're able to find connections and use your voice AI in your software. And another thing that I'm just going to add is industries, usually in the healthcare space, like dental, it's incredibly difficult to get an API, and usually most softwares don't. There are certain ways around it, and you can definitely reach out, and we can try to figure something out to see if there's a way to get around it. But again, my name is Eyal. I run You Found AI. We're an agency that builds these voice agents for other companies, including real estate companies, wellness companies like therapy, physiotherapy, all that kind of stuff, and also home service companies. So if you're watching this right now, trying to build it for your own company, I hope that this was useful and you can use it to build it yourself. If you have struggles, if you have troubles, if you realize, you know what, I just want someone to build this for me, then reach out to us. Our email is in the description, and so is the booking link to book a call. We'd love to chat, understand your problems, see how we can help, and if it works, then we can definitely get started on helping you out. Thanks so much.